Hello, my name is Lava, and this is my assistant Edgar, who will be on your screen talking for me. Note, Edgar is a fictional character and my channel mascot. I love the newly added Zombie Infection game mode added to Team Fortress 2, and while I may not be thinking of Valve in the greatest light right now because of the conveyor belt of bullshit being spewed out regarding half-assed updates and doing jack diddly about the bot crisis, but hey, let's not go into politics, am I right? I mean, it's probably not that hard to add war paints that were totally not made using AI or looking up clip art on Google or from other sources. Oh, hey, this is a cool war paint. I wonder what the inspiration for it. Well, oh my goodness! Hey guys, let's add hundreds of unusual effects that nobody will remember and cosmetics that remove all team recognition. But hey, let's not get political, Karen. I just care about how solid TF2's art style is, despite the multiple assassination attempts made on it over the years. Yes, I'm a Zesty Jesus sympathizer. Bite me. Oops, there goes Valve in failing to counter the bot problem. We muted every free-to-play and never reverted it when it didn't work. For God's sakes, won't somebody think of the Gibbous engineers? What was this video about again? Oh yes, TF2's Zombie Infection game mode is a newly added game mode using the holy grail of TF2 modding, VScript. Community made, it does come with a bit of jank, but its creators are hard at work tweaking it to perfection, and with this latest update, I think it would be a good time to make a tier list before we lose it forever until next Halloween. You and your fellow doomed mercenaries must survive the zombie plague, which Medic made trying to make a second or something, I don't know. The lore is a little bit fuzzy, but that's besides the point. Each packaged with their own unique tools or abilities to help them survive, or if you should succumb to the virus, flesh-hungry zombies with their own unique abilities. So turn the lights down, grab a snack and a drink of your choosing as we go through my official zombie... Ooh, wait, hold on. It says escape on my tier list. No, whoopsie daisy. Common mistake. Zombie Infection tier list, not escape. I don't know why that's in my script. Who fucking who wrote this shit? Starting off, we have the humans. Their win condition is, well, surviving. When the round timer ends, you win. At the start of a round, a ratio of 1 to 5 of your team members will be infected. It's best to stay away from classes like Heavy, Pyro, Sniper, and especially Demoman for reasons I'll touch on later in the zombie section of the tier list. And the worst human class in Zombie Infection is...
Death is stupid!
Scout, making him tonight's biggest loser. Yes, you heard that right. In E tier, we have the Scout. It may or may not be hard to see why. You see, the Scout doesn't really have anything going for him aside from being a very light jack of all trades. He's not even that good at being the sole survivor for selfish survivors due to the myriad of zombies that counter him hard. I would argue that the Spy does it just as well, if not better, because of the Deadringer, but we'll get to him in a bit. Essentially, from my experience as a Scout, you should stick close to your team, chucking Mad Milk or picking off stray low-health zombies when applicable, but be careful not to overextend as you can get easily overwhelmed. If not outright one-shot by a zombie heavy if you don't pay enough attention. Also, make good use of unlocks like the Candy King, which is just a direct upgrade from stock in this game mode, as you might imagine, or the Force of Nature for that extra knockback. The Soda Popper is also a great choice for some insane mobility, but probably the best scattergun you could use, and the one that I personally use, is the Baby Faces Blaster, as it's greatest downside is essentially nullified in this game mode due to most zombies being restricted to melee. Your greatest asset as the scout is your movement. You can reach high places and travel across the map in ways other mercs can only dream. So go on and seek out open areas. Don't get stuck inside an enclosed space, and don't forget to be wary of zombie scouts. Your main target are zombie engineers, medics, snipers, and any other kind of zombie who's in a bad spot and doesn't have the means to directly reach you. That being said, if you're in the late game as scout, that's not gonna be as good of a position for certain.
Haircuts, hippies, brains!
Overall, I know I didn't paint Scout in the best light. You can play as Scout if you want to and do some stuff, but overall he just kind of ends up dying early in the mid game if he isn't careful. That or he becomes the last one standing by some miracle. And it's a shame because playing Scout in this mode is very fun with the babyface blaster. Moving on to D tier, we have the Spy.
Well, off to visit your mother!
The Spy is unique, to say the least. He can be pretty helpful at picking off zombies that get too close, but most spies I see usually just roam the map, hoping to get a random pick or two, and then fucking dying. Spy is plagued with the same squishiness as Scout, but don't get me wrong, you can do good with Spy. I just think that similar to Man vs. Machine, he just has a very high skill ceiling in this game mode, and usually is a noob trap because of that. The correct way to play Spy is to go after big value targets before they can cause too much damage, and getting the fuck out with the Dead Ringer. Your main targets, at least the ones I recommend, are zombie heavies, zombie demomen, and occasionally zombie snipers, medics, and engineers when they aren't surrounded by teammates. Weapons that I would recommend are the Diamondback for extra DPS on pot shots. Any of the Spy's knives are a good option, except for stock in my opinion, and Dead Ringer. Spy should be played as he is in normal TF2, a high-risk, high-reward pick class. You know, minus the whole sniper can do anything that the Spy can do better, but let's not worry about that. Overall, Spy is a decent pick, despite the low ranking I gave him, but as long as you know what you're doing and know who the right targets are, and you're a knowledge god with Spy, I'd actually argue that he's a solid B tier, but sadly he gets dragged down by players brute forcing into zombies or using him as a sole survivor class with the cloak and dagger for some reason. Guys, this doesn't work. He's not that good at that. Only like slightly better than Scout. Also, his damage output is obviously laughable when not backstabbing constantly. And if he gets stuck with his teammates, he is not going to be doing much help in the raw DPS department. Overall, Spy is a noob trap if you don't know what you're doing with him, but can be invaluable if you have a godlike Spy on your team.
Seduce me!
Breaking into C tier, we have...
Have at them, lads!
Oh boy, this one's going to be fun. Before the nerfs, I would say that Demo is the ultimate scumbag soul survivor and just can generally be the fuck you class of the game mode. Well, I mean, he can, but we'll get to that. I mean, think about it. If he becomes a zombie, then he can just explode in a group of humans for an easy multi-kill, and thus crippling the survivors. And at the end of the round, he used to just run around in circles around the map with the Have Zatoichi and just become an unkillable monster because the only classes that could get to him were either too frail or didn't do enough damage fast enough to kill him outright, because of course he had a 50% resistance to zombie attacks, who are restricted to melee, by the way, with his shield for some godforsaken reason, thus dragging the game on with a boring last stand. Rant aside, with the recent changes, Demo is much less of that anymore. Although Demo is still that middle finger class if you want him to be that guy, but if you want, I can tell you how to actually play him. First off, equip the Scottish Resistance. With how fast zombies rush you down, sticky spam isn't going to be of much help. So it's easier to focus on making traps to save your teammates if you're getting overwhelmed. I would also recommend the loose cannon for knocking back zombies, and for your melee, it's really up to you, but if you want to get risky, you can equip the Eyelander for that bonus survivability in the long run. And as for the short term, the Half Zatoichi is broken in this game mode, where health and just general survivability can be scarce. So go ham. No, wait, not that ham. Overall, Demo is an okay roaming class, but he really strives when he's defending his teammates. He's actually a pretty fantastic choice for locking down doorways and other entrances when there's a surprise zombie heavy on loose, but can be very vulnerable when setting up traps, so be sure to protect him. Starting B tier off, we have the original Texan. Yes, he was the very first Texan at the start of the universe. The Engineer. Poor Engineer, or not, depending on who you are, the most nerfed class in zombie infection. 60% sentry damage. Zombie heavies one-shot many of his buildings. Zombie engineers, not really, but we'll get to him. And zombie sniper can damage his buildings now. With all that being said, though, I actually think Engineer is in a good place right now, although he is a very big noob trap now, in a way you might not expect. I see the Engineer as a noob trap because of the way I see him played in the most, in a similar vein to Spy, actually. A lot of Engineers seem to focus on their sentries way too much. Playing Engineer is not the same as he was at the start of Zombie. I have zombie escape in my fucking script again. Who is writing this? Anyways, Engineer players now need a very different mindset to play him properly. For example, your most important building now is not your sentry, but your dispenser. Yes, you heard me right. Treat your dispenser as if it's your sentry gun, because that is the building that you'll need to keep up for all of your teammates. Let me explain. The dispenser is essentially your lifeline of your team now. If it goes down, you better start praying to God that you can get back up in time before your team runs out of ammo. Ammo kits and med packs, by extension, are surprisingly scarce on the maps, and those small health packs that zombies drop aren't going to cut it if you want to set up a solid holdout point. I cannot stress this enough. Do not let the dispenser die. Now, as for your other buildings, teleporters are kinda useless. I wouldn't bother with them outside of setup time to make a cheeky exit tele, but even then, you have other responsibilities to worry about. Now, as for your sentry, you need to treat it as a disposable building, like a mini sentry almost. No, wait, not the actual mini. Please don't actually use the gunslinger. It's not worth it. Despite the Engineer's nerf to turtling, it is still better to use the normal sentry gun. For wrenches, I recommend the Jag, as your sentry is more likely to go down more frequently. So it's best to get another one up as soon as possible. Trust me, you're not going to be taking jack diddly or dealing a shitload of damage with this thing. That's what your heavies are there for, by the way. It's exactly as the engineer says.
My heavy caliber tripods feel like pea shooters now. I think a bunch of weeds from a crazy pothead would have a better chance than this here hunk of junk.
The Sentry now is mostly used for the knockback it provides due to its severe nerfs, although I will say that it's definitely a shiny object that zombies are attracted to, so if you and your team are lucky, they'll probably go destroy it before leading on to you. Overall, Engineer has been severely nerfed, but can still be a necessity on the team solely because of his superior support capabilities, and can still snuff out classes like Zombie Scout. Heavy, despite the nerfs to his beloved minigun harem, is an integral part of any Survivor team. And heavy stacking is a strategy worth considering, even with the additional risks involved with it. The more likely one of the heavies will become one of the strongest zombies in the game and start massacring your team. Because of this, I would actually recommend one or two of your teammates go spy just in case you're using the strategy to shut down that possibility, if possible. Anyways, Heavy can be a beast with the right team support. Be sure to keep him healthy, as he's going to be your go-to when it comes to holdout points. His minigun, like the Engineer Sentry, has great knockback, and if you especially want to ruin a speedy zombie's day, you can equip the Natasha, which along with the Brass Beast are two of the best miniguns, in my opinion, for the game mode. Yes, they restrict your movement, but you're not really going to be moving much from my experience. Just keep calm and mow down that horde as much as possible. As a little bonus with using these miniguns, you got some nice damage resistance while spun up and at 50% health or lower. Honestly, I think it shouldn't have that restriction valve, but whatever. Overall, there's not much to say about Heavy. He's a solid B tier, and while his speed and vulnerability to getting bomb rush does just keep him out of a place in A tier, along with another problem that we'll touch on in the zombie section. He's a solid pick for stalling and makes zombies into mincemeat. Next, in A tier, we have the Sniper. The Sniper's role in this game mode is very similar to Spy's role, with less risk to his person and carrying even more support in the form of Girardi. Sniper has also received a massive buff to both of his buddies.
This one here is just beautiful. Crafting some depleted uranium arrow tips for Sniper was a real tough task, but hey, it can kick them like a mule.
As stated, he can now pump out a lot more damage, which can be very useful for zombies like the Zombie Heavy, or one-shotting a zombie demo, or one-shotting any zombie under 220 health. Jesus. I don't have too much to say about the Sniper's melees though, as it's really just kind of a pick your poison kind of deal. I'd probably just stick with stock, as the Bushwhacker can lead to some bad habits. He's also prone to getting sniped himself by zombie snipers or random zombie demos that charge in if he's not paying attention. I would be very actively checking your surroundings for zombies in general. That includes zombie soldiers, so look up occasionally to not get stomped on. He's not very good at stalling, which is the name of the game, pretty much, but he makes up for it with some real ludicrous damage. Overall, this was a short explanation, but don't let that fool you. Sniper is a very important class for stopping zombie heavies and demos in their tracks. or be a fantastic pure support option if you equip the Sleeper, which I think earns him a solid spot at the lower end of A tier. Next up is Pyro. Pyro is a fantastic mobile staller in this game mode. If you're looking to stall zombies but find it boring playing heavy, this is your guy. Pyro in essence is a roaming DPS staller thing. Her flames provide good DPS and his air blast is great for stalling, but be wary of zombie heavies. They ignore all forms of knockback, except knockback caused by themselves. Also, watch out for zombie pyros as they are immune to her flamethrowers. I repeat, they are completely immune to all forms of fire damage. Some good unlocks to utilize are the power jack for its increased speed to make some good getaways, the scorch shot for the additional knockback it provides by giving your enemy half a second of no clip, and the stock flamethrower as it has no penalty in regard to its air blast. You should also be moving around frequently as you're vulnerable to being backed into a corner with no way to escape, so be sure to always be moving. In summary, you should air blast threats like zombie demomen, zombie scouts, and zombie medics, and zombie pyros away from your teammates to keep them safe. And always be moving around the map to avoid getting caught with your pants down. Medic, much like in any casual game of TF2, is a vital class that nobody likes to play, apparently. Regardless of medics being an endangered species, Medic is one of, if not the most important support class in the game mode for fairly obvious reasons. Now how about we start simple with your choice of Medigun? Can't go wrong with stock. All reliable. Can definitely save your bacon in tight positions, but just make sure to actually use it to get out. The Kritzkrieg is more of an aggressive strategy found in the game mode, trading in survivability for massive short-term benefits. Pocket a soldier, heavy, or even a demo for that matter, and you can kiss the blue team goodbye. Well, maybe not kiss because they're undead and that's kind of gross. Moving on then, the quick fix can either be really good or really not good when it counts. It kinda does jack diddly against zombies that can really one-shot humans like the demo or the heavy zombie, but I wouldn't count it out yet. It can be used to quickly recover your entire team's health ludicrously and has a great uber and base heal rate to boot. And then there's the vaccinator. Yeah, just stay away from this one. It's not good, like, at all. I'm so sorry to all you vaccinator mains. At least you can tank zombie demo and pyro explosions. Some weapons I would recommend are the Crusader's crossbow, as its damage, like the sniper's bows, have also been buffed. The overdose for quick getaways, and your choice between the amputator, which is great healing for multiple people in the area, or the ubersaw, because no matter where this thing is, it's just a free fucking 25% uber, so it trumps a lot of the other options, because everything else besides the amputator is a wet roll of toilet paper in comparison. Overall, Medic is your go-to for healing. But in other news, Grass is green. Okay, you already know that Medic, the class built to heal, would be important. I can't even do a dramatic build-up to him, unlike the next class. And the best human class in zombie infection is...
Congratulations!
Jane Doe,
You know
also
what's
known
good
as the
for you,
rocket
you
launcher
will
shotgun guy. We have Soldier as a sole class in S tier for the human team. Soldier's upsides cannot be stated enough in this game mode and can be an absolute anchor for your team. Or you could just be an asshole. Soldier is easily one of the most powerful classes in this game mode. It's honestly hard to think on where to start with him. Most of the zombie infection maps have choke points, which are just asking for its Krieg-powered rocket to be fired at them, and even in the most open maps, still will have plenty of vantage points to pepper zombies from a distance. Why do this, you may ask? Well, to charge your many banners, of course, while you're fighting against classes that essentially don't have a reliable range attack. And soldier stacking banners, I think, is one of the most powerful strategies you can get in this game mode, as you have the Conqueror, which gives you added survivability with its passive regen, and can allow your teammates to retreat and recover lost health with its banner effect. And with how fast it charges, you're going to be popping this thing constantly. You have a banner, like the battalion's backup, best weapon in the game by the way, which can make your teammates ridiculously tanky so they can stay in a firefight for longer or survive a zombie Demoman charge. And the buff banner. Just free mini crits. Before all of your team is dead. Oh, fiddlesticks, I got so caught up with banners, I forgot to mention the strong-ass rocket launchers like the airstrike. Chances are you aren't going to be repeatedly killing zombies. I mean, that's the whole fucking point of the game mode, right? So you'll have a massive reserve of damage. The Beggar's Bazooka, which can fire almost as fast as stock, so it essentially means you have an infinite clip. The Cow Mangler, which just removes the need for ammo and dispensers, like at all. I mean, seriously, who's going to stop you from taking pot shots to charge up a banner and going rockets blazing? I mean, yeah, Soldier's slow, but what if I told you it doesn't matter? Need I say more? Soldier's mobility is off the charts in this game mode, allowing for bombing in and making a quick getaway as long as you're mindful of your surroundings. Soldier's rockets also provide a great source of damage and knockback in general. I'm sorry, I forgot to mention that in the beginning part. I love this class so much in this game mode. As for Soldier melees, he has a whip, which can allow him and other slower classes to get away from bad situations. The Havzatoichi, which as I've mentioned on demo, being just broken, and yes, the Market Garden exists. It's not good. Like it all. Unless you're Soundsmith himself, I guess. Soundsmith fans be damned. Overall, Soldier is a priceless asset in zombie infection if you actually want to make it to the end of the round on the Survivors team, with his numerous abilities being essentially a conglomeration of multiple other classes plus sides. Soldier is truly blessed, an American jack of all trades to carry your team to victory! Or just to be a dead meme. And that, viewers, is the end of my unofficial zombies.
Oh god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! My blood! He punched out all my blood! You call that breaking my spine? You red team ladies would
Well, it seems one of my cameramen has been infected by the zombie plague. Don't worry, he's been restrained, and we've got another one on scene. On that note, it's time for the zombies' time to shine. The zombies' win condition is simple. Infect all other players with the zombie plague before time runs out. The zombie team will gain 8 seconds to the timer every time a human player dies. So if you're a human player, kill bind whenever something funny happens, as it gives us more time to, kill the rest of you. And tonight's worst zombie is... the Spy. Zombie Spy is easily the worst zombie in the game, and here's the kicker, even after the generous buffs, he's still bad. Not only the worst zombie, I might add, but the worst class in the game in general. Zombie Spy can scream. He can reveal enemy locations with it and highlight them to other zombie players to target. Just like the scrap special infected of the Left 4 Dead series dubbed the Screamer. Zombie Spy also has a passive cloak, similar to the Halloween invisibility spell, decloaking while attacking, but recloaking after some time has passed. However, because of the particle effect all zombies possess, this upside is completely worthless. Just why? From what I found, is that Zombie Spy, like a lot of the other zombies, were made to directly counter the human equivalent, with Zombie Spy being able to reveal cloaked spies, which has a long-ass recharge, making it not reliable. Now, all this sounds good on paper, no it doesn't, but there is one crucial downside that completely kneecaps this class. No back stabs. Yes, indeed, Zombie Spy can't backstab players. What is the point of getting behind the enemy if you get killed in half a second once everyone sees you? If not, to pick off a survivor. At least he's good at revealing players' locations, right? Well, yeah, but does it really matter? The only time he's used is at the very end of the game, and that's really only if it's a cloak and dagger spy hiding in some random ass corner of the map. Because chances are the whole horde is already going to be chasing the last survivor, so just play follow the leader at that point. Man, I like the idea of this class being inspired by the Left 4 Dead Screamer, but it feels like it just goes to show why it was scrapped in the first place. It's pointless. Maybe they could make the spies scream, make the survivors take more damage, I don't know. The zombies are already at a ludicrous advantage with these new changes, and you'll see why soon. But as for Spy, I wouldn't count on it. Walking into D tier, we have the Zombie Engineer. The Zombie Engineer doesn't even make me mad, it just makes me bored. Despite the zombie's placement, he does have a somewhat valuable niche that he clings on to dear life, mind you. Or death, in this case, I guess. That niche being specifically made to counter engineers' buildings. However, he is probably the worst attacking zombie in the entire game mode, and that includes a zombie who has a 30% damage penalty right out the gate. He sucks so badly at attacking that if he didn't use up his EMP grenade, he drops an ammo box on the ground. Fitting, but still bad. There's so little to say that this is the smallest paragraph in my script. Even with his EMP grenade buff, I would just take your chance and go with Zombie Demo for Sentry Destruction. Overall, he sucks. I had a genuinely hard time placing him as his niche is so specific, But since sentry guns are still kind of a threat, I decided to place him over the spy by a tiny bit. Don't play zombie engineers, please. Just for the love of God, please don't. It's not worth it. And if for some godforsaken reason you have to, aim for the human engineer's dispenser first to starve their team of ammo. That way you'll actually be accomplishing something.
Grass grows, sun shines, birds fly, and brother, I come back from the dead!
Okay, I swear, the zombies are gonna get better. Stick with me here. In C tier, we have the Zombie Scout, whose passive ability has been completely made null and void by another certain
Brains,
zombie.
haircuts, hippies, brains!
Yep, that's the classic case of this thing is good, but there's no reason to use it over this thing that does it way better.
Oh, you know what
The
would hit
Scout
spot?
gets
Brains,
heavily
they're delicious.
outclassed by Zombie Soldier due to his frailty and lack of anything other than just raw speed and admittedly pretty good mobility. He can be good, but there's just no point in using him when Zombie Soldier exists. Okay, maybe he's good in closed off maps. Nope! His tiny brittle bones screw him over in the most choky parts of maps, thus making his speed and triple jump genuinely useless. On open maps, he would be good, but Zombie Soldier exists, and on closed maps, he gets destroyed by spam. If you so much as sneeze on him, he crumples like a piece of paper. The only map I see him even remotely more viable than Soldier on, without tearing your hair out, is the map Murky, as the shrubbery and vantage points on the roofs gives you great cover to pop in for some quick damage. That is, if you can even get out. To put it bluntly, Zombie Scout is a hit and run class without the run part. You will most likely die 90% of the time, even with your high speed, because your health is so drastically lower than other zombies for some reason. But if it's any consolation, experienced players probably won't see you as much of a threat, and will choose to focus on other, more actually dangerous zombies instead. So that could give you some ample time to get in and get out while they're distracted, or when one of the survivors strays too far from the group. But at that point, why play a hit and die strategy when there are much better classes for that, such as next in B tier, we got the Zombie Pyro, and the Zombie Pyro is one of the two dedicated Sudoku classes in the game. God, why doesn't YouTube just use YouTube Kids? Probably because they're too busy defending a piece of human trash on YouTube who thinks it's okay to dox someone for providing constructive criticism because it's funny and quirky and YouTube likes to suck their because they generate a shitload of money for them. And oh, oops, did I say that aloud? Now, anyways, what I mean by Sudoku is that their job and / or sole purpose in life is to cause as much mayhem and confusion as possible by blowing up in the survivors' faces. Zombie, Demoman, and Sniper being the other Sudoku classes. Zombie Pyro explodes into a pool of gas passer juice along with making a big toasty fireball. Another underrated upside of this ability is the cloud of smoke generated by a fire that can easily cause chaos and confusion if coordinated well enough for zombies to hide within, and to block sniper sight lines. Now, as for Pyro's other abilities, it's kind of a mixed bag. On one hand, you have a passive immunity to fire, and mind you, not just the afterburn effect like normal Pyro, which is fantastic for Pyro v Pyro scenarios, but you also get an interesting immunity to Jarate and Madno. So if possible, if you see a scout or a sniper chucking a jar at your team, intercept it to ruin their chances at a comeback, even if it costs you your life. Now here comes the real bad parts of Pyro. His melee is underwhelming, to put it lightly. She can set people on fire, but has a 30% damage penalty to boot. he's susceptible to being killed before they reach their targets as well. Overall, if you play your cards right, you should be able to take enough damage to get into the enemy's lines and wreak havoc on their defenses, even in death. With that being said though, there's another class that can do it just a bit better. We are starting to get into the truly deadly zombies now, with the introduction of the Zombie Demoman in A tier. The Zombie Demoman is truly a monster, even in the hands of someone totally new to the game mode. You run in, punch people, refuse to elaborate, and then you fucking explode. You not only become a sentry buster, but a player buster as well. Using the Demoman's ability, you can gain a few seconds of Uber that charge into your demise, taking along those unlucky enough to be caught in your path of destruction. You should take advantage of players fleeing at the sight of you whenever possible to ensure maximum destruction. Overall, while he may not be able to cause as much confusion as the zombie Pyro, he is far more deadly in any player's hands. If you give even a moron a gun, once they figure out how to use it, they will become deadly. Zombie Demo's only real downside are players actually facing their fears and killing the demo before his charge completes, so take caution that no snipers, or heavies for that matter, are looking in your general direction, or that a spy isn't behind you. Make sure players don't see you in general, so they can't see their imminent demise before it's too late. Zombie Sniper was easily one of the best classes early on in Zombie Infection, even with some of the bugs plaguing him holding him back. And it's not too hard to see why. Zombie Sniper is almost a 1-to-1 recreation of the Spitter from the Left 4 Dead series, and you know how annoying and deadly those are. Zombie Sniper can spit. Once the spit lands, it creates an AoE effect, damaging any players unlucky enough to be caught within its range, including engineer buildings. You can hold the spit in by holding down the mouse button until you have a good angle, but be warned, you will automatically spit after a couple seconds. On death, Zombie Sniper, just like the Spitter, leaves behind a pool of damaging acid, so if your spit has a cooldown, you can run in and die on purpose to get that extra bit of damage in to finish off a group of survivors. Zombie Sniper is prone to being ambushed by scouts and spies if he's not careful, and gets domed by enemy snipers if he doesn't seek decent cover. And just like the normal sniper, he can't do much if he doesn't have a clear visual on where the survivors are. Overall, Zombie Sniper is a great class for pestering holdout points survivors may hold up in, as well as pestering the human engineer and his buildings. Your main targets will mostly be grouped up players and dispensers for reasons previously listed. Just be careful and take heed in watching your surroundings. And popping off in S tier, we have the Zombie Medic. The Zombie Medic is by far one of the most underutilized zombies in the entire game mode. His ability is simply called Heal, which is almost an exact replica of the Halloween Overheal spell. and it is stupid powerful if you use it strategically. Using the heal power, it will put you into first person mode and grant you a few moments of uber along with those around you, just like the normal spell, but you can still attack. But the biggest upside, of course, is healing all surrounding teammates back to full. Is the zombie heavy almost dead? Not anymore. Is the zombie Pyro almost dead, but he's too far away to make use of her abilities? Nope, not anymore. Does the zombie Demoman need that little bit extra overheal to take enough damage to get to the holdout point? Good to go! Zombie Medic is unequivocally one of the most broken zombies in the game mode, and is the only zombie to not receive changes whatsoever to his playstyle, and it really shows, at least to my knowledge. Overall, he's certainly not the most damaging class, but he excels at making a bad situation worse.
Brains!
Zombie Soldier might as well be the overpowered main character of the zombie team. He rose up from the ashes of being the absolute worst zombie, no, class in the game mode, including Spy, to become the best. His ability to leap now, with greatly increased height, allows him to travel far distances with the use of air strafing, while also being extremely spammable due to its slow cooldown time for some reason, thus making the zombie scout borderline useless compared to him in most scenarios. While falling to the ground, he gains the stomp mechanic of the man-treads, and let's be real here, the probably only instance the man-treads is ever going to be used to good effect, that can cause major damage. Fun fact, before the latest fix, it actually did too much damage because of an oversight, and even after the fix, Zombie Soldier is ludicrously powerful and excels at picking off teammates one by one. The human engineer's sentry gun can only do so much to stop him now its damage has been nerfed into the ground. There is nothing holding back Soldier from causing untold mayhem, because for some reason, the Soldier is the second tankiest zombie in the game mode, allowing him to be way more reckless than other zombies and get away with it consistently. Zombie Soldier is truly a force to be reckoned with, and human survivors should always keep tabs on any zombie soldier roaming the map. And should your engineer friend perish along with their sentry gun, it's only a matter of time.
Sounds are broken.
Well, folks, that about does it for this tier list. I hope you enjoyed it all. I know I sure did. If you have some of your own opinions on who's the best, leave them down below, and if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and a subscription, or if you don't like it, leave a dislike. It helps either way. Alright, this has been Lava, and I'll see you next time in the next video. Oh no. Welcome to hell. You already knew it had to come to this. I already knew it had to come to this. How did the random gibbous not know? Lurking in the background of this video, Zombie Heavy has been strolling about. Zombie Heavy is without question the most powerful and broken class in Zombie Infection. He was already pretty decent early on in the game mode's lifespan, maybe needing a little bit of a buff, but this is too far. With the buffs he's received, he's become the final end boss of Zombie Infection, modeled after the, well, you know, the tank from Left 4 Dead. Zombie Heavy boasts an absolutely staggering amount of force. He has an absolutely enormous health pool, already further accentuated by his passive battalion's backup effect, making Engineer's life a living hell. His sentries become completely useless due to Zombie Heavy's complete knockback immunity. I think the Engineer in the update video for Zombie Infection said it the best.
Considering the tissue mutation Medic just mentioned, the big one's not only just a bullet sponge, but it's practically a flesh-made sentry buster.
Truly, nothing is taken for granted with this class. No knockback means one of the biggest strategies in the game mode, stalling, is just gone, kaput, reduced to atoms. You absolutely need to focus on the tank, or tanks, yes you bet your ass will get to that, for a disgusting amount of time. Other zombies take that opportunity to swarm you. In Left 4 Dead, this isn't as big of a problem, and don't get me wrong, the Left 4 Dead tank is still pretty scary to fight with a human player controlling it, but the game is already heavily in favor of the survivors who can gun down the tank pretty reliably with low casualties, as well as the tank being spawned at random. And it's still dangerous whenever it shows up in that game. In Zombie Infection, you can get this godlike power right out the gate, and what's the cost of this power, you may ask? 10% less movement speed than a heavy. The movement speed penalty almost never comes into play. Critics or unsuspecting players might argue that every class can easily outpace him, and yes, on paper, every class can outrun him, but that's not a normal game of Zombie Infection. Some of the maps are clusterfucks. Most players will be huddled up in uncoordinated, at best, making it easy for a tank to go on a killing spree. With the help of his increased melee damage that allows him to outright one-shot light classes. Oh, and as another middle finger, he can one-shot any of the Engineer's buildings. He may only be technically quote-unquote useful when there's groups of players huddled up and there's only 2 people left running around, but that means he's still effective around 90% of the match. Whereas classes like the Sudoku classes or the Zombie Spy are only usable in certain points of the match. There isn't much advice I can give you outside of heavy-duty focus fire with this class, as he's uncounterable without proper team coordination, and even then he's still probably going to kill someone anyways, just because. I don't make much mention of this, but part of the reason Human Heavy is in B tier because of that risky strategy I mentioned earlier about with Heavy way back in the Survivor section. This is why Heavy is B tier instead of A tier. If even just one or multiple Heavies who are huddled up with you turn into zombies, you can kiss your Survivor game goodbye. I don't know what the dev team was thinking by buffing Zombie Heavy this badly. The closest analogy I can give you to an idea of how broken Zombie Heavy is in this game mode is Defense Engineer in the Class Wars community game mode. Nothing comes for granted with this class, and I don't think he deserves the power he has. Oh, and if the zombie team actually coordinates to have half of their team become Zombie Heavy with Zombie Medic support, may God have mercy on your soul. You know, there's one funny, albeit twisted upside to all of this. At least you can shout, "Tank!" when he appears, and reenact Bill's final moments alive as you get bulldozed by 4 of them at once. Okay, well, that was a lot, but now you know my opinions on who I think are the strongest zombies. And I'm just gonna go a little bit off script here, so forgive me if, like, I stutter or whatnot. I mean, I probably already did 1,000 times in the video. But overall, I just wanted to say thank you for watching. Genuinely. This project took a very long time, and if you enjoyed it, I would really appreciate it if you could subscribe. You know, I may not do TF2 stuff all the time, but I certainly love the game, that much is for sure. But yeah, this took way longer, but I think it was worth it. I absolutely love this game mode, and I just love, you know, this game in general. And I said, fuck it, you know, people like Space Guy Online make tier lists and stuff, which are my inspirations. So my inspirations include Lazy Purple, Zesty Jesus, and the previously named Space Guy Online. I just love their style of content, and I want to be aspired to be like them. So, yeah. Thanks for watching. If you liked it, subscribe. If you didn't, leave a dislike. It helps me figure out what you guys want, you know, or what you guys have critiques on. And like I said during the middle, or during like the ending of the video, for the fake out ending, please leave what you think of the game mode personally, or if you ever tried it before, for that matter. It's really fun, and I highly suggest you go and play it. And with that, I'll see you guys next time. One more thing. I may, if this video gets popular enough, I might make a behind the scenes kind of style Lazy Purple video for this one, because there's actually a lot of stuff that was going on behind the scenes that, to put it lightly, oh boy, this was kind of a nightmare. But if you have any questions, then just, you know, let me know in the comments. Till next time, I've been Lava, and I'll see you next time. Beppis.
Congratulations! Seduce me!